1. We are live in the present tense with Sam Stewart, 91.7 FM, WNJR Washington, and online at WNJR.org. What is going on, everyone? I hope everyone is doing great on this Thursday here in Washington, Pennsylvania. We are back for our second episode of the week. On Tuesday, we had on Katie Brown and McKenna Mann. That was an awesome episode. Really fun and insightful show. They picked up a big dub yesterday, and I know we've got a great episode lined up tonight as well. Tonight's show features two captains from your WNJ baseball squad. My first guest on the show tonight is a senior from Fairport Harbor, Ohio. Everyone, welcome on the show tonight, Sammy Schuster. Sammy, how you doing tonight?
Good, Stu. Hell of an intro.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Trying to get it started hot. You know what I mean? We're on Howland Dam Station, so you can say that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. My second guest on the show tonight is a Gold Glove shortstop from Clarence, New York. Last year's junior captain was the Pac Tournament MVP. Everyone, welcome on the show tonight, Jacob Laduca. Jacob, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you, Stu?
I'm doing good. Excited to have y'all back in the studio for your second episode here on the present tense. Now, let's go ahead and dive right into it, fellas. We just finished up the Red Black World Series. And Schuster, I'll start with you as our resident senior here on the show tonight. How would you assess the Red Black World Series? And, talk about your coaching experience a little bit. What was that like?
Well, it was definitely the best Red Black I've ever been a part of. Which just tacks on, I think it was the best fall I've ever been a part of. Mm-hmm. It was 2 weeks longer than my sophomore and junior year, which, some would say that's a bad thing because guys will get burned out, but they didn't. It was the first time it ever went to 5 in the last 4 years, so it was really competitive. And it was just fun to coach. Like it was fun to make the lineup every night. It was kind of a lot to try to play and coach at the same time. Dukes knows this. You're in the on-deck circle, but you're talking to the guys in the press box, trying to make subs and stuff. And, your pitch, I would call a pitch, and I'm, thinking about what subs to make. And, it was definitely a challenge. It made me a better baseball player, I think, by trying to do that.
And Dukes, I'll get to you. I have a question for you in a sec, but I just want to ask you, Sammy, why do you feel like, I know you coach some for a summer organization, why do you feel like you're so attracted to coaching in baseball particularly? I know you play basketball, football, we've had the conversation about those sports, but why do you feel like, because I feel like a lot of people might be like, oh, baseball, there's not much to do in coaching there. Why do you feel so attracted to that?
Well, I guess half of it's kind of just kind of done in my whole life. It's the sport I've been most exposed to. And I just love the chess match of it.
He knows the game really well. So.
I'm not some super athlete, so I didn't end up playing basketball or football, but baseball was just kind of what I ended up doing.
I gotcha. And Laduca, congrats on your Gold Glove, my man. It was a big talk when everyone came back this fall. And for you, I've never actually asked you this. What kind of you seem so smooth out there? What kind of stuff do you feel like has helped you over the years for helping maybe young kids who are listening to this right now or listening to the podcast version later? How did you develop those smooth hands of yours? Because you never seem rushed. You never seem kind of hurried. What kind of drills did you do, or was it kind of a thing that came natural?
Kind of natural, but growing up, I was always a multi-sport guy, so I think just playing multiple sports,
What other sports?
I played hockey. So
okay.
Stick handling, stuff like that. I think that just helps develop the hands, but Coach Bubash has been great, so I can't say enough about him.
What type of stuff do you guys usually do in practice up to all that stuff? Because all I hear is a lot of yelling, a lot of direction.
Yeah, he's big on
direction.
He's big on going to get the ball, creating angles, making an easy throw to first base. So, just listening to him really helped me.
Now, one thing I also wanted to ask you about is last year against Grove City, you had probably one of the most clutch home runs in WNJ baseball history. It made our head coach probably run the fastest I've ever seen him run. And I hope he's listening tonight in his car. That's the fastest I've ever seen you run, Coach. So when you came up with a chance to win the game, what were you thinking at that moment? Were you thinking just get on base? When you hit the ball, what were your thoughts? Take us through that moment.
I'm not the biggest home run hitter, as many of you guys know. But, I was confident the whole game. I was feeling good in the box. I said, get me up with a chance to win it, I'm going to do it. And I didn't expect a home run with no one on. I was kind of hoping there would be someone on second or third, but so first pitch was a ball. I knew he didn't want to walk the leadoff hitter in an extra inning, so I knew he was coming another heater. Luckily, put a good swing on it. Didn't think it was going out right away, but it kept going and going and going, and then I thought he robbed it, and then I saw it bounce on the soccer field, and that's when I knew.
Yeah, that was something, and of course, we're talking about Coach P. Before Coach P comes up, he's like, oh, the wind helped you out. What a great moment. And I know we're going to have a lot this year as well. Last question before we dive into some different kind of sports stuff tonight. We'll have a little bit of a sports-centric show. For each of you guys, what is the biggest key? We've been in the regional several times in a row now, but I think everyone's ready to make it back to the World Series. We're definitely not satisfied with just getting the regional. What's the key to make it to that ultimate goal of winning a national championship this year? And Schuster, I'll start with you.
That's a tough one. I think we just got to stay healthy and stay consistent with things. Baseball's a game of tough breaks. I think we're in that last inning against Misericordia. Obviously, Misericordia goes on to Sunday and sweeps Salve Regina by 10 runs both games. I mean, we're in the last inning. They hit a 3-run bloop single. It's just a game of breaks like that. I think last year could have went either way too, but I think a lot of what this is like our program's kind of built on our best players and our kind of our most hardworking players too. We saw that last year, and I think that's just going to help us as the season goes on.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think what was shocking to me is I look back a couple weeks later, just checking on what ended up happening, and I was like, oh, well, what happened to Misericordia? And then they obviously go on to the World Series, you know what I mean? So it's like...
They got a Fox Sports article written about them.
Really? No kidding.
About all their hit by pitches. So.
Really?
Maybe we got to get hit by more pitches. Well, we do.
I've heard someone say that before, but no, I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm sure I'll send it to Coach Mountain. I'm sure I'll have it pasted on the dugout. Yeah, I feel like the thing is with baseball, it's like, oh well, Salve Regina, like they're obviously one of the better teams in the country. Like it's gonna be tough to beat them twice. But then you get there, and it's like it seems like they were kind of out of pitching. I don't know if did you guys watch the game against Misericordia that they played?
No, it's pretty devastating. But they,
yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what happened, and maybe we get to Sunday and we lose the first game, but I mean that's just how baseball works. It's just a game of inches, game of breaks.
Because I think if we could have got to that, I mean, our pitching is so deep, like you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, like they made a good run in that last game against us, like yeah. But I mean, I think that's the difference is like you gotta. It's one or two moments in the regional. I remember like our freshman year, I went down. I didn't make the travel roster, but in freshman year, it was in High Point. I live in Wakana, so I drove over. And, like, we had an opportunity to close up the game, and then we had an opportunity to come back against Birmingham Southern, and that's kind of like one inning makes a difference in a regional. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Laduca, any thoughts to add to this?
I think if, like, baseball's fluky, it's a funky game. I think if we play that 100 times, I think we win a third of them. Misericordia wins a third of them. Salve wins a third of them. I mean, I think just it was anyone could have taken it, and I think if we keep putting ourselves in the position to win regionals, go on to the Supers, go on to the World Series, I think keep knocking on the door, someone's going to answer.
All right. I like that. Now, y'all, let's go ahead and dive into some sports talk. One of the things I love doing most of y'all is just talking about sports. So before we even get into any league or anything in particular, did we see the Miami football game this weekend?
Yes.
With the not being down.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Is this the worst blunder mentally in sports of all time? Because some examples came to mind, like Dak Prescott not getting the ball down a couple years ago, Chase Claypool pointing against the Vikings when they could have won the game, J.R. Smith not knowing the score. But is this the worst mental blunder in sports of all time?
It's up there. I remember one time, I forgot who it was, but they were in like where they needed to spike it to stop the clock, and the quarterback went up and kneed it.
Oh yeah, was that Kirk Cousins?
It might have been Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
But
wow. Yeah, that was a bad one. And then there's been instances where the quarterback has like gone and like stepped back, and actually, if you look up at all and take the ball up to act to throw and then spike it, it's an intentional grounding. Yeah. So yeah, I do know. I'll have to look that one up. But Schuster, is this the worst mental blunder to you of all time in sports?
This is a shout out to Bill Crank, but I mean, Mario Cristobal, the Miami's head football coach, he's done this twice now. Like, I saw the first clip. I don't remember who they were playing, but he did this twice. He ran a play against somebody else a few years ago, last year, I think it was. But no, I mean, probably not the worst in sports history, just because, you're down there in Miami, no one's really watching. No one really cares about you. I mean, in front of that 55,000 capacity stadium with a third of the people in it, no one really cares. There's no one even there to boo him. So I think the worst sports blunder is the J.R. Smith play.
Really?
Obviously, that's like a homer.
It's also in the finals.
Yeah.
I think it's based on like where you live. I bet down in Miami, the few fans they have are
the old timers.
Well, there's like, honestly, I don't know. One you could bring up too is the Minnesota Miracle with the Saints quarterback.
Oh yeah, well right.
Cornerback. Yeah, it's like
what was he doing?
And then there's also against the Raiders, I believe it was the Dolphins. They had I believe it was the Dolphins. Ryan Fitzpatrick throws the ball and they do a zero cover blitz and score.
Yeah. What about when New England put Gronk on the field?
Oh wow, I didn't know this was going to prompt such a good discussion. That is the stupidest thing, I think, because I get it. You need a jump ball, but at the same time, like you don't have guys who are defensive backs
can jump. Edelman on the field. They usually used to do. Bill Belichick was big on Edelman playing defense for some reason. Then they put Gronk out there.
And he just and the funniest thing is, I like Gronk a lot because he won a Super Bowl for the Buccaneers and stuff, but he just stumbles on that play at the very end and just falls flat out of his face.
The thing is, I would assume they put him out there to defend a Hail Mary,
right?
But they were at their own 30-yard line. Like no one's throwing the ball 8 yards on the field.
And he has it. Anyone else has it. Edelman's going to be fast enough to make the tackle there.
Yeah.
But I don't see. The thing is with this situation, I don't think if you don't know what we're talking about, so Miami can literally run. It's like in Madden. It's like you're right with the chair thing. in Madden, when you give your buddy one more shot and you just mess around, you're trying to score. So they can literally knee the ball down, and the math works out where the clock will run out. And the coach, when he comes back, Mario Cristobal actually comes back and says, like, "Oh, the offense court, we're just in the flow of the game." And it's just like
it's all about game flow.
I guess.
All about game flow.
But and the thing is, Coach Mountain, I was talking about this, like probably like 1,000 out of 1,001 times. That's a fine play because you're just gonna fall down and just get tackled. Yeah. And he fumbles, and then with 10 seconds left, they do 2 amazing passes and end up winning in overtime.
But how's no one in the box is like, "Hey Mario, we can knee it right here."
Yeah.
How does nobody say that?
Right.
How is nobody on the sideline running up and calling a timeout?
Well, the center for the team is on the side. He's like, "What the f are we doing?"
I know.
He's just like, "What?" I don't know. If I'm a Miami fan, I guess gotta be trying to get the reps. Hey, Push Mountain says, "Gotta get our reps in."
Yeah, gotta get our good work in.
Yeah, gotta get our good work in. That's what they were trying to do there. All right. So, fellas, let's talk about a little MLB playoff baseball. So, one stat I wanted to pull up here that I feel like is really interesting comes about the teams that have lost so far. So teams with the 5 best records in the MLB are 1-12 this postseason. So one thing I've seen a lot of people talking about is one, there's day breaks in between games, not just between series, between games. And 2, there's more teams in the playoffs with the format of the wild card teams that is currently in place. So do you think either of those problems has caused the good teams to struggle a little bit this offseason? Well, for some, this season, postseason, some of them struggling a lot. Would you change the format as it currently lies either way?
I don't think you can change the format, but I think getting a bye is a little overrated because
especially
teams
baseball
come in hot, like the Diamondbacks. I mean, they look unbeatable right now.
And they get to keep playing.
They get to keep playing. They've been in the experience of the playoffs before, the series before, and they just keep on rolling. Kind of like the Phillies last year. They got rolling, and then obviously their crowd's insane.
Yeah.
But they got rolling. They made it all the way to the World Series. So.
And I think one thing, you talk about the hotness, and that kind of comes with the bats as well for the Diamondbacks. First team in MLB postseason history to hit 4 home runs in a single inning. They've only done that twice in their entire history in the regular season. So you talk about that hotness, but on the other side, the teams with 2 of the best regular season records, first time 2 100-win teams in the Orioles and the Dodgers have been swept in a series. Sammy, thoughts on the postseason, the struggles of the top contenders in the regular season?
Yeah, I think this happens actually in all sports. I think it has to do a little bit with the bye, but I think it has to do with a little bit of inner divisions. The best teams recently in baseball have come out of the best divisions. In the AL East, the best teams are coming out of the AL East every year. And all those teams do all year is beat each other up. I mean, they play a 162-game gauntlet of a playoff season. Think their last games their last 30 games are playoff games, and then they get into the playoffs after all that. I mean, these guys have been throwing high-stress innings for 2 months. I think that happens in every sport. You see it every year, the AFC North in football.
AFC East, right, with the Bills.
Yeah.
Because
they just beat each other up.
I mean, last year you said, how the Dolphins come close without Tua. It's well, they already played them twice. You know what I mean?
It's just, and when you get into the postseason, anything can happen. And a lot of these 100-win teams are built for 100-win analytical. Like, they're analytically built for these 100-win seasons. Like, blah, blah, blah. If we win this percent of our games with, like, these certain players. Then they get in the playoffs and their managers have absolutely no feel. And it's just, like...
Interesting.
They haven't... It's just... The analytics, too, is just driving me crazy.
That's interesting. That's actually a pretty good angle. It's like, are you built to win the 3 games? Are you built to win the 1 game?
Yeah.
I mean, are you built to win 100?
But
percentages?
You have these losers sitting in the front office. They're like, oh, we're going to win 56% of our games this year to make the playoffs. It's like, well, are you built to win that 3-game series against the Phillies in Citizens Bank Park when that place is rocking? Like,
well, see, I know you're referring to the Braves, because to me, the Braves are the best lineup in baseball.
Yeah.
And they haven't produced this.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Dodgers, Mookie and Freddie Freeman go combined 1 for 21. Here's the interesting thing, just kind of to your point about the divisions. I mean, the NL West is such a great division, you know what I mean, most years. And the Dodgers have had 317 wins in the last 3 seasons and 0 World Series appearances. Most wins by a team in a 3-season span in a time they did not make the World Series. So, with that in mind, what's more disappointing? Talk about the 100-win teams, the Dodgers or the Orioles? More shocked, surprising, more disappointing?
I thought the Orioles were going to be a really good contender in the World Series.
Yeah. Do you feel like the season's disappointment for them, though?
Not at all. No.
Mm-mm.
I just think their bullpen was kind of set up to be a playoff team. But, again, Texas came in hot. I mean, they beat each other up with Houston. They've been playing. They swept Toronto. And they go sweep the Orioles. And just like that, they're knocking on the door of the World Series.
So one thing I think that's interesting about the Orioles is I feel like they're a couple pieces away. You look at someone like Chicago who gets beat the year before they won the World Series. They had John Lester. You look at the pitchers that Houston has added over their run. You know what I mean? The big time arms. And I feel like I don't know if they have that X factor arm that can get them a critical win in a playoff series. And I think one thing that's interesting is the Orioles traditionally have not spent a lot of money. So are they gonna, like, you look at the Rangers? They add Seager. They add Evaldi. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are 2 guys who have really come into play this postseason. It's like they had to pay those guys. So yes, the Orioles have a good young core, but will it, at least in my opinion, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, the Orioles are still a piece or 2 away.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
they need to spend a little money this offseason.
I think they're a piece or 2 away, but I think it could come from within their system.
Yeah, it could definitely come from within their
Adley
system.
Rutschman's still young.
Right.
Gunner's still young, but the thing with, like, the Orioles versus Dodgers, like, disappointment debate, I guess, is, like, the Orioles, everybody was rooting for them, so obviously, like, America's more disappointed.
Fair point.
But, like, the Dodgers, man, like, that's a storied franchise who's been there the last 8-10 years, and they just can't get it done. So that's disappointing in their own right. But I would say the Orioles, I don't know what they need to do. I know that Anthony Santander needs to be a Guardian. That's what I'm pushing for. But yeah, I think Jackson Holliday's coming up. I mean,
yeah, that'll be. I mean, that's the name I was about to reference.
He might be the piece. Yeah.
Yeah, he might be the piece. And I think traditionally we have seen it more teams going out to get those things. You know what I mean? But if they can get those pieces from within, so let's talk about the Dodgers a little bit. So Clayton Kershaw, 0.1 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs in his postseason start here. What is it with Clayton Kershaw in the postseason?
I don't know. I'm a Clayton Kershaw, like, sympathizer, too. I love the dude, but I mean, some guys just don't have it. Some guys just can't get it done. And, like, the sample size is big enough where everybody can see now, like, man, maybe he's just not that guy. I mean, he is that guy.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer,
for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, he is that guy, but, like...
But if you look at his postseason only
Yeah.
and multiply that over the course of it, like 13-13 record with an ERA of 4.49.
How do they evaluate that World Series, too? You know what I mean?
60 game World
I
Series.
know.
The thing is, when someone pitches that long, especially a divisional opponent, they faced him many times.
Yeah.
So, like, the Diamondbacks knew what they were going to get and capitalized on it right away.
Well, even sometimes, like, I feel like when I'm facing you guys, like, I feel like sometimes pitchers, like, on our team will just, like, have a better game against than they've been throwing in the scrimmages. Like, you just roll them out there. You know what I mean? Because you don't know, like, who's has a tendency to throw strikes more, who has a tendency to throw off-speed strikes more, versus, like, you guys. Like, by the end of the year, like, we'll probably face both of you guys, like, 20 times in your career. You know what I mean? So it's, like, I kind of know, like... But I feel like it's more of an advantage for hitters because at that level, you just know, like, who can throw what. You know what I'm saying? Like...
His sample size is big enough, though. Like, you can say he's a bad postseason pitcher. 26 starts.
Yeah.
Or 26 decisions.
He's a bad postseason pitcher.
26 decisions. How many starts does he have? I mean, at this
So
point,
39 career appearances.
that's, yeah. I mean, at this point, 40 career appearances in the postseason is like, he's not a good pitcher.
Yeah, it's a shame because you'd love to see it, but yeah, you're a Clayton Kershaw sympathizer as well, and it's like, it's hard to see, I think. But I don't care that the Dodgers lost, so, it's. I mean, so who's the better Cinderella story at this point? Who do you want to see? Like, do you want to see the Diamondbacks? Do you want to see the Rangers?
I want to see the Diamondbacks. I really like Corbin Carroll. He's pretty good.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks, I feel like they've been the biggest surprise, just how they handled the Dodgers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think people, okay, we'll shift to the series now because this leads to my next point. People knew that the Phillies series was going to be tough for the Braves. Bryce Harper against the Braves all time. 13 of 27, 5 home runs, 10 RBI. Spencer Strider needs to be a dog in this game tonight. But who do y'all have taking this game tonight?
I got Philly. I think they're just going to roll. I mean, they scored 10 last night. I wouldn't be surprised if they scored 10 again.
0-0 in the first.
My thing is, like, I want Philly to win. I think it's such a cool story. And I saw this take earlier. I'm stealing it from somebody else because I liked it.
I do it all the time.
I don't remember who said this, but, like, Citizens Bank has that aura that, like, old Yankee Stadium had when the Yankees were good for so long.
Have you been there before?
It was Colin
Citizens
Howard.
Bank?
Yeah,
No.
it's pretty cool.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking a Colin Howard take. I might have to take it back. But, I mean, like, he's not wrong. Like, that place is bumping. And I don't even know if I like the Phillies. I just want to see 3 or 4 more games at that park after this one. Like,
I'd like to see the series go to a game 5.
Yeah.
That would be good.
but it would be in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's true. But still the energy.
Yeah, that energy's good there, too.
Did y'all think Bryce Harper made a error by running that far on that ball?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to have this discussion. So, what do you think? I didn't talk to Coach Mountain about it. Did y'all talk to him about this play?
Nah.
So when the ball goes off the bat, Bryce Harper ends up actually riding second. You have to, a lot of people don't know you have to retouch second base. Austin Riley comes across the bag, and that is basically kept the Braves alive, that play, because I feel like Philly might score, I mean, not just because Michael Harris made that great play with a double up. You don't know what happens after that. But if that might come back to bite them if this series continues, so do you think Bryce made the right play there?
I mean, I know,
think so.
I know where you're coming from. Like, I know he wants to score the tying run. But you also just don't want to make your last out. Like, you don't want to. You have 3 more outs. Like, you want to get it to the next hitter. Like, even if the guy makes an out, you want to give the next guy a chance. Because who hits after Castellanos? Probably like Stott or Bohm. Like a guy who can.
Stott.
Yeah, a guy who can do it too. Like, I don't know. I understand where you like maybe just hang out on second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the turn is what hurt him because he
Yeah.
slipped going around.
I mean, it just looked like he'd never been through a live BP before. Like,
I mean, but coming back to hit that home run with the stare down.
yeah, he almost set up for it. Like, he got out on purpose, hit 2 home runs.
Are you guys Bryce Harper fans? Like, do you enjoy it? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I kind of wish he would stay in DC, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like him nor dislike him.
He has flair, I think, which can rub people the wrong way.
He's really good hitter.
He is. And ever since he was 17, he's been in the spotlight. I mean, he skipped senior high school and played JUCO, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have 2. I think I have 2 things to say on that. The documentary of Bryce Harper is going to be insane in 15 years.
I was like, oh, is that already? That'd be good.
But like, I feel like either way, you have to respect him because he's really good for the game. If you hate him, if you're a Nationals fan and you hate him, he's over there hitting home runs in Nationals Park his first game back. You know, he's staring down shortstops who are talking to him. Like, he's just really good for the game.
I will say that, but from the perspective of National fans, they just won a World Series without him. You know,
they did,
and he hasn't won.
Exactly. When the Nationals win the World Series, everybody's talking about how they did it without Harper. Like, that's good for the game.
Oh,
those
so
stories are good for the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he does bring a certain aura, a certain personality that is good for baseball. Baseball is really, I mean, to throw out this name, there's a lot of controversy on it, but Trevor Bauer, like, he's talking trash. He's doing, like, to me, I thought he was good for baseball. You know what I mean? Off the field, obviously, that's a whole different issue. But, like, to have those guys with personality, like, they did actually a report a couple years ago that the most recognizable player at the time, I believe this was 2016, 2017, Kenneth Farid was the same recognizability, and he was the 35th most recognizable player in the NBA to Bryce Harper in the general population. It's like people just don't recognize baseball players anymore because it's like, but people recognize Bryce Harper. He's got that personality. He's got the Under Armour contract. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's good for baseball.
Yeah.
he lengthened his career a lot by switching to first base too. Like I don't think he could have played outfield for that long.
No.
And I also think the Phillies had a plan with Schwarber. Like he wasn't supposed to play. He was playing. I don't know if you guys know this, but he was playing left field. Like
Right,
every
for the
night.
Cubs, yeah.
No, he's playing. He's the worst left fielder in baseball. And he was playing outfield every night for the Phillies.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But on the Cubs, that was a big thing
Yeah.
too. It's like
and so I think Harper lengthened his career and also helped the Phillies a lot by learning to play first base because he's there in the playoffs, man. Like he's playing big innings at first base. Like
yeah, first base is definitely one of those positions you can switch to, though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but like career outfielder, you know what I mean?
Right. He wasn't a. I mean, he had a cannon, but he never won a Gold Glove or anything.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
he wasn't Jacob Laduca.
Yeah.
But man, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. The position switch. I mean, that's
pretty unselfish.
It is. You know what I mean? It is for sure. But you know, the one team that keeps on keeping on is the Houston Astros. 7 straight LCSs.
Yeah, they just know how to get it done.
It's Dusty Baker's a winner.
Yeah,
He's a winner, man. You know, it'll be really interesting to see what happens here because I think the Texas, the I-95, whatever road is, I believe it's I-95 matchup, like that. Man, it could be a good one. I think the Rangers have the potential to knock it off. So they last World Series obviously they played the Cardinals. Like I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, right now, the one storyline that I'd say I'm most concerned with is the D-backs. D-backs pen 1.77 ERA in 20 innings. Like, I don't know. I can see the D-backs making the World Series and potentially playing the Houston Astros.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I really like.
That's the matchup you'd want most.
Yeah, not a lot of well-known guys, but guys that just underrated, good ball players. So.
Got to root for a rematch. Are you kidding me? Philly Stros? That'd be sick. A little sequel.
I don't know. Something about the Philly fans gets on my nerves. I hate to say
Yeah,
it.
I do. I actually I despise the Philly fans. But I do like it's must-watch TV when they're playing.
Well, it's like you hate them, so you're gonna watch them.
But also, like, I will say I respect their fans so much. Like, you got, like when they were singing, me and Laduca are sitting there, they're singing A-OK for Stott?
Yeah.
Stott or Bones?
Stott.
Same player. But they're, like, singing A-OK, and the crowd is singing along, and we're like, man, the adrenaline. And then he just hits a home run. Like, it's just moments like that. Like, Harper, when he walked up last year in the NLCS, and just, like, everybody's like, oh, if he hits a home run, this place is going to go berserk. And then he just hits a home run. It's just, like, stuff like that's, like, must-watch TV.
For sure.
And they just keep doing it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's a good point. I think the Philly aspect of it, kind of an all sport, and they kind of had a letdown in all sports in the championships last year. You know what I mean? Philly basketball sold, surprise, but the Eagles and the Super Bowl was a little bit of letdown. So I think the Phillies are trying to redeem the whole city of Philly a little bit, and you can see that energy that's coming in the playoffs this year. Like you said, they have the most energetic stadium, I would say. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure what happens here. Yeah, I would like to see a D-backs Rangers World Series. Have you guys been seeing the whole thing with them playing Creed, the Texas Rangers? Speaking of sing-alongs, do you guys like Creed?
Yeah.
I'll play some.
I think it's kind of
I'll play some Red Break. I was listening to Higher to get hype on the way down here tonight for the show. You know what I mean? But mentioning the Eagles, let's go ahead and switch over to the NFL side of things. So we had a big week this past week. We had some interesting things go down. And the big thing that every sports show has been talking about, so we'll briefly, I guess, have to talk about it, is the Sunday night game, 49ers versus Cowboys. What's your thoughts on this? Are the 49ers just that legit, or are the Cowboys just not that good?
Brock Purdy is so good.
He is good.
Just because he was the last pick and he has a good offense doesn't mean he has to prove anything else. I mean, he's never lost a game he started and finished.
Right.
So.
252 yards, 4 TDs, a pass rating of 144.4.
He leads the league in pass rating. So.
It's insane. Do you feel like if he doesn't get hurt last year, they win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
The Eagles'
if,
offense was tough.
if you know.
Right, I'm saying,
I know.
They had Christian McCaffrey playing quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Down there. So, I mean, that's the thing. I think you do have a good offense. And the defense is great. Dude, Fred Warner is him, bro. Like, he's actually...
Trent Williams is him. That dude could ride. He could go to Canton right now. He's the best offensive lineman ever in NFL history. It's not even...
Yeah.
I don't even... That's not even a hot take to me. that dude, Micah Parsons, top 3 defensive player in the NFL. Would you say that, Micah Parsons?
Probably. Who TJ Watt won?
Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, like
All right, Myles Garrett.
tough. Okay, he's
No, Myles Garrett's up there. I feel like he just doesn't get put in the same conversation with the guys like TJ Watt or Micah Parsons.
yeah, you can't stop the run, but that's a different conversation. But like Trent Williams literally made him look like a JV scout team player. Like,
Yeah, he
like
did.
he just they tried to line him up not on Trent Williams. That's how good Trent Williams is. The defense is wasting players, so Trent Williams isn't blocking them. Like it's not even like they don't even want best on best because they know he's the best. That's just
It's a special group they've got, the 49ers. But I think also the Cowboys just aren't that legit. I think when they beat the Giants, it was an overreaction week 1. They lost to the Cardinals. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they lost a big player in Trayvon Diggs. I don't know. I just feel like there's a little bit lacking on the Dallas side, to be honest with you. I don't know. People are hating on Dak. I don't know if it's just Dak, but I don't know. To me, I don't know. Y'all can agree. I don't think Dallas is legit. I don't think they're a legit Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, but like Coach Mountain says, it's all about when you peak, right? If you peak at the right time, again, like getting hot, it's big. I mean, if you look at the Bills, they were last year after halfway through the season, they were undoubtedly the Super Bowl favorite. They were going to win a Super Bowl. Josh Allen was going to win MVP. Then they just fell off a cliff and got spanked by the Bengals in the first round. Oh,
what's the Cowboys' upcoming schedule? I saw it. I just don't remember it. If you read it, I'll give you a win-loss prediction because I know that the next 3 games is going to swing their season.
All right, so let's go. Let's just go to next 3 right now. We got Chargers Monday night game, probably a win.
We'll see.
who's home?
The Chargers.
Oh,
Give me Brandon Staley all day.
We got the Rams,
that should be a win.
They might win that, yeah.
and then the Eagles.
They'll lose to the Eagles.
They'll beat the Giants again. They'll beat the Panthers. Beat the Commanders.
I don't think they're real. I think they'll drop 2 out of the next 3.
Really,
In any capacity. I don't know.
the Eagles. We'll get to the Eagles in a little bit, but since you brought up the Bills, let's go ahead and talk about a game that was played in London. And like basically the Jaguars are just like London's team at this point, so it's basically a home game for the Jaguars. And like the city of Jacksonville, they're debating with the team for a $1 billion stadium. It's like, why? You're taking 2 home games away from the fans. But anyway, I mean, honestly, they might move the Jaguars to London at some point. You can see it. But so, what do you think, Laduca? Do you think that Stephon Diggs? I mean, Josh Allen said that he's tired of people talking about the chemistry. Do you think this combo on offense can lead them to a Super Bowl?
100%. 100%. They've been undoubtedly the best team in the league for many weeks. People have looked at them and their performances. They say that's the best team in the league. Whether they show up in the playoffs, that's a different story. But they have shown that they are capable to win a Super Bowl. They did it last week against Miami. I mean, they had 48 on them.
Right. But, they also had this loss to the Jets. You know what I mean? But
yeah, week 1 doesn't mean anything. Week 1's never meant anything.
Pick and choose what weeks mean stuff.
Week 2.
If you go back and look at history, teams that have won the Super Bowl, they're 500 in week 1.
I might have to pull up the stat during the break.
Yeah.
Well, you got Matt Milano, Daquan Jones, Tre'Davious White all out. 3 very strong defensive. I mean, definitely above average, if not elite defensive players. I don't know. I don't know. It's a matter of is the Bills' window running out? You know what I mean? Is it a matter of is Josh Allen that guy? I mean, we had this discussion last year. I don't feel like he's bridged that gap where you can compare him to someone like Mahomes. You know what I mean? I feel like he still has a way to go. He has to get a ring on his finger before we can put him in that conversation of elite guys, all timers. Schuster, what's your thoughts? You're doing a lot of thinking over there, Schuster.
Yeah, I don't think the window.
The window doesn't close until Allen retires.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Really, you feel like he's that type of player?
Yeah, he's definitely what the Bills do really poorly is surround Allen. And I know they have Diggs, and I know everybody talks about these weapons. They're just horrible at play calling, game management. They just don't do a lot to help Allen. They kind of just throw him out there.
They miss Dable a lot.
Yeah, they do. They just all the QB runs and he's like jumping around in the air. And
I mean, he's probably, since 2018, he has coming into this season, since 2018 over the past seasons, he has 84 turnovers. It's the most of any quarterback.
Yeah, he gets drilled, and they rely on him to do so much. Like, if you see, like...
If you watch the Chiefs...
Yeah, they're running play-action passes, and, like...
Not great receivers.
The Bills are straight drop back, like, every single play. Like, hey, Josh Allen, go make a play. Like, you have to have, like, some sort of, like, thought. Like, you have to put your quarterback in good positions. A lot of football is coaching. A lot of, like, I mean, a coach is calling the play every game. It's not like baseball where, like, you just roll 9 guys out there and they go play.
Right.
But, like, football, like, the coaches have a lot to do with it. And that's why you see coaches get bagged so fast, like, as compared to, like, baseball coaches. Like,
right. They do miss Dable, although Dable has been having his own struggles in New York. You know
it's also
I mean?
tough to call plays and be the head coach at the same time. I don't think guys should do that.
You don't. Interesting. I'm trying to think. I mean, what about defensive play calling?
Well, we don't know who calls the plays for the Patriots, so don't use that as an example.
What do you mean?
We don't. No one knows who calls their defensive teams. No, but
it's not Bill Belichick.
It's like a team. It's like they combine into like a team of defensive coaches. But
it's not been working out well for them.
I just think it takes a special type of coordinator to call the play. Like, only the best of the best should be calling the plays and being the head coach. Reed, Sirianni. I mean, those are the only 2 guys I can literally think of that.
Yeah.
McDermott calls the defense.
Well,
as of this year.
Well, one thing I think is interesting just with the coaching point in football, you know, you're a Cleveland fan. We're looking at, we'll see if the Buccaneers are somewhat legit over the next, couple games. But you look at the way Baker Mayfield has played, they have one of the best turnover ratios in the NFL. They have a good defense, but also he hasn't been turning the ball a lot. And, Cleveland was a real struggle for him as a whole. You know what I mean? So it's like Todd Bowles, head coach, new offensive coordinator in Tampa. Like, you see those guys have a regenerated career. You know what I mean? So it's like almost, do you think the Bills should make a change as the staff? As staff, you know what I mean? Like, you see the controversy of Matt Canada right now, obviously in Pittsburgh.
I don't think they should make a change yet. I mean, if things get obvious, then they might have to. But the thing with Tampa, I'll tack onto that, is they know their identity. They're going to play good defense. They're not going to turn over the ball. They're going to win close games. That's what they do. The Bills just don't have an identity right now.
Their identity is Josh Allen. They're like Josh Allen.
That's a good point, Schuster.
Josh Allen, go be Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I think that's all great points. I had considered that before, that they rely on him versus, like, say a Mahomes or even, like, the Bengals really bounced back this week. Like, someone that they spread out a little up to, like, someone like Jamar Chase. Like, he's part, like, they're not just like, all right, Joe Burrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Zach Taylor can call plays a little bit.
Yeah. He's not a bad coordinator, I wouldn't say.
Yeah. But again, like, he can't manage the locker room right now because he's trying to call the plays and be the head coach.
That's an interesting point. I think that's something.
But
yeah, because does Kyle Shanahan calls the plays?
Yeah, he's good too. McDaniel's good. There's like a handful of guys.
Yeah,
but the league is shifting towards these, like, it's the same thing in baseball. I was talking about analytics earlier. The game is shifting between these, like, Mike McDaniel type, like, QB gurus, get the guy open, like, but that just, it takes a certain type of guy. I think a lot of teams are losing their identity trying to get this perfect offensive play caller, and it's just not like that. Like, Zach Taylor, I mean, they made that Super Bowl, but, like, he's had an 0-16 season. They're horrible this year. I mean, he's not a good football coach. I mean,
they went 0-16
with Zach Taylor, yeah.
Bengals.
The year before they got, or not 0-6, 2-14.
Yeah.
They were, like, just as bad as an 0-16 team, but, like, I just don't agree with, like, the way football's going.
Interesting. Definitely have to keep an eye on that, because the thing is, actually, ESPN wrote it in its article, and the deep ball was actually really, I'd have to look at the statistics from this year. I don't think they've been touted. The deep ball is kind of going out of style, and you see, like, just the way that football, like, it's not just about pound, play action, go, like, you have to be really creative as an offensive coordinator now, I feel like. You know what I mean? You have to get crossing routes going. You have to get different plays.
That's why teams are taking shots on these guys, too. Like that's why the Browns went and got Stefanski. You know? That's why... And that's what Pittsburgh fans think they should do.
Well, Pittsburgh play calling is the most unoriginal, uncreative thing you've ever seen.
But they shouldn't go get, like, an offensive guru head coach. They should keep Tomlin and go get a guy who can actually call plays a little bit.
Right. I mean, I think someone, and you have to have that. So I think about, all right, so look at why Brady was successful for the majority of his time in Tampa. Like, Byron Leftwich, they were able to get, like, Brady wasn't the most talented guy ever, you know what I mean? Especially when he was in Tampa, but yet they had the weapons. They were able to get those guys open in space, especially the year they won the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's like, you look at even like the Eagles and like they have the creativity, like, not just a brotherly shove, but like they get guys open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They use Hurts as a runner. Hurts was the leading runner, 72 yards last game, 300 yards to the air. Like, I don't know. I think that's an interesting point about the offensive play calling. And speaking of the Eagles, like, do you feel like their weaknesses at times this year have convinced that they're not the best team in the NFC, or do you think they have a shot to beat the 49ers? Because I think that they're up there, but I don't know if I could say that I believe them to beat the 49ers right now.
It's going to be a good game, I can tell you that. But, I don't know. San Fran just is clicking on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the Commanders took the Eagles to overtime the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And San Fran has just wiped the floor with everyone almost, so.
Right. I agree. Yeah, what do y'all think about one more point real quick before we get to power rankings? The little controversy between San Francisco and the Cowboys where he was like, George Kittle called the shirt was like F Dallas. Have you seen this? There's all that trash talk.
No.
And he was like, Michael Parsons on his podcast. There you go. Everyone's got a podcast nowadays. Is like, you know, that this makes it personal. Did you feel like it? I feel like it's always personal in the NFL. It's like one game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw like a Tom Brady thing. He was like talking. He's like, I don't care if anyone says anything, but on that day, like, I want to go and I want to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the mentality.
On Patrick Bet-David's podcast. That was a good podcast. What were you gonna say, Schuster?
I mean, Micah Parsons says like it's personal, but he says it after the game. Like they already played the game. It was personal for the 49ers when they played the game. Like they're on to the next week. That's why I just think Dallas is a little bit. I don't know. They're not soft, but
Jerry Jones. I feel like, to be honest with you, Jerry Jones has been a detriment to the team more than he's been an additive.
Yeah, and
because he wants himself to be the franchise. Imagine if he hired Dion. Imagine what they beef. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Honestly,
that'd be a really funny idea.
Yeah, I don't think it.
I would. That's must watch TV. I would every Sunday. I would be glued to my TV.
Dion coaching the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw a conspiracy theory that people, not a conspiracy theory, but a theory that Dion, when Nick Saban retires, will be the next coach of Alabama. You don't think so? Not a shot.
He'd be rolling in his grave.
I don't know.
I didn't say he died. I said he'd be retired.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Really? Even with the success. I mean, he's right that, I mean, I was talking about this with someone the other day. It's like, Dion's right. It's like, you know, the world should enjoy it because this is the worst Colorado will ever be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to keep getting better with the recruiting, the portal.
What happened to what happened to the days of coaches just like staying at one school? You know what I mean? Like, he's just like.
Or players.
Yeah, players too.
But, I mean,
broken.
if the player. Broken in what sense? This is an interesting discussion.
It's just like all these players are moving team to team. Like guys in the SEC have played for 3 different SEC teams in their career, and it's just like, how is this happening?
I don't get how they like have like motivation once they like go to their third school. Like, how do you like?
I mean, you want to win, to make the NFL.
With the school, but like, how do you have that spirit?
I mean, I think the Tim Tebow-esque kind of like you go to the school you love and you fight for all. Like that's kind of, and to me, like I don't. But I don't. To me, as like a fan, I guess as a fan, I don't really care too much.
I don't know. Like if I was forced to transfer to like Westminster, like I don't know how I would.
What about like Lincoln Riley? This is a good example.
But they're not forcing them to transfer.
What about Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma? Like he had built, and I'll call it this, a dynasty at Oklahoma. They were winning the Big 12 every single year. He was making college football play.
Well, I'll up you on before that. He was at ECU, and ECU had a ton of success while he was there. I don't know if you knew ECU, East Carolina.
But I understand the jump from like an ECU to an Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma football in the realm of college football all time has been one of the top tier programs. How does he just leave one of the top tier programs after having so much success in the playoffs every year to just go to some random unranked team? At the time, they were unranked. I know USC has had success, and they've been, you know, a really good program before, and like I understand it, but like what is going on in college football for him to like do that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's different. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
No, I know, I get it.
It's different.
What's his name? The LSU coach now.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
What a goofball, dude.
Like,
it's just like, it's just so bizarre. Like, I guess the coaching carousel's always been there, though. You know what I mean? But now it's just so extreme. It's almost like, you can't blame the players for jumping team to team when the coaches are jumping.
Right,
team
like
to
Travis
team.
Hunter decommits from Jackson State. And goes to,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine.
Shador, you know what I mean? Goes to wait till Shador is Dallas's quarterback when. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I know one thing about Deion Sanders, just to comment on that again, is like it's good for college football.
Yeah, like Bryce Harper.
Yeah, look, yeah, it's like because I don't really I mean, what's your thoughts on Deion?
I mean, I would say like
It was a little bit weird when like they were like flexing after they beat Arizona State.
yeah, like how much does he? Man,
he's a
don't
good
know.
recruiter.
Yeah, how much does he have to do with like the daily football like stuff? Like,
We gotta think the recruits will get it over the next 5 years. If he
oh, I
stays
know
involved.
he's so good at recruiting, but like, how much does he have to do with the day-to-day football? Like, I know Lincoln Riley is over there calling plays and like designing like.
Bro, Deion's got Lil Wayne coming out of the tunnel, bro, getting lit. You got Kawhi Leonard on the sideline.
You know, guys are good at their own thing, I guess. But like, I would be interested, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Deion is like all-time great Andy Reid football coach, but like, I just don't know. I would have to see it.
So you're a Duke guy, you get this. I think, and don't get me wrong, Coach K is a great coach, but one of Coach K's biggest advantages is that he coached Team USA. And he had the celebrity connection. He's like, hey, let me get you on the phone with LeBron.
Yeah,
let me get you on the phone with Kobe.
But he built himself into that. So I guess so did Deion, but Deion didn't do it in a coaching sense. He did it when he was playing.
I mean, he's probably a. I mean, what would you rank him as a quarterback all time? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's not like Coach K was a top 5 NBA point guard of all time, and then he went and just coached college basketball. He built himself up as a coach.
Right? Yeah, that's true. And I think there are people like at Jackson State, people are like, oh, how's he going to move on? But the thing is, like, not how many people. This is an interesting discussion. How many players do you think right now could go coach and win at the Power 5 level? I know Deion took a couple years at Jackson State, but I'm thinking maybe like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. Like, how many players former players before do you think could go to a Power 5 school right now who wasn't good like Colorado and take it over and have a winning season?
Maybe if they have a year or two under their belt.
Yeah, I mean, like Peyton Manning. Do you agree with on that one?
I think Peyton Manning could.
Yeah.
Drew
Tennessee.
Brees.
So you imagine if Peyton Manning took over Tennessee?
That's the
Yeah.
Drew Brees maybe.
Yeah. Who's the coach of You know who I'm talking about. There's a non-Power 5 coach who is an NFL backup quarterback. Yeah, I just saw a video of him yelling at his staff.
Trent Williams.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer, not Trent Williams.
That was
Trent
hilarious.
Trent Dilfer.
Did you see that?
No, I saw him when he was coaching high school. He like shoot at a kid.
But I'm also sure, like, I'm sure some former players, and maybe Deion's an awesome coach, like football day to day, like maybe he can operate a program. But I'm sure there are former players that we don't know about that can operate a program.
That's true. It doesn't have to be the top.
Yeah,
player.
it doesn't have to be like the greatest football player of all time.
But there's definitely some of those guys where you're like just the star power they brought in.
Yeah, you just know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Peyton Manning's jumping out to me right now. Tom Brady.
Yeah,
He'd probably be a good one. We had Tom Brady.
Brady
I had to coach the Patriots when Bill Belichick retires. Talk about a team that struggled, but I think Bill Belichick's gonna move on. Last kind of point about football before we head to break. This has been a really fruitful discussion both about college and NFL football. Who do you feel like is under more pressure, stress, hot seat more? And I have a very clear answer about this in my mind, but Sean Payton or Bill Belichick. Sean Payton, to me, is a real threat of threatening his legacy, but Bill Belichick, it's like, okay, he has all those rings. Like, this is not going to threaten his legacy. Sean Payton, low-key, like, how you call Nathaniel Hackett the worst coach ever, like, something along those lines, like the worst coaching he's ever seen, and then they just beat him.
Yeah. I think Sean Payton's head got a little big, saying he could turn the Broncos around, and I don't think he realized how bad Russell Wilson is. I mean, he just looks so slow. Defensive linemen he fumbled 3 times against the Jets. D linemen are just strip sacking him every.
Jets are so good. The Jets are just one piece away.
Sean Payton probably ruined his complete football legacy when he let Kevin James play him in that movie. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You didn't see the Sean Payton movie? Look it up.
Sean Payton got a movie?
Sean Payton has a movie that's about it's like a parody because it's Kevin James.
That meme that's been that meme that's been going around.
It's like a parody.
Home team get coached by Sean Payton.
Yeah, it's like he goes and coaches his son's youth football team during the Bountygate scandal.
What?
He's in the movie. He makes an appearance.
Home
me
team.
and Roman watched it. But It was horrible. It was horrible. It was the worst movie I've ever watched.
Returns to his hometown 2 years after being terminated as NFL head coach. He was involved in this scandal and 5 to 12. This is not a movie, dude.
Yeah, it's a real movie. It was horrible.
I'm reading the comments.
Go watch it.
Now, a documentary about Bountygate would be interesting.
Yeah, Greg Williams was a dog. He was a good coach in Cleveland. Should have hired him.
Yeah. Kind of a POS, though, don't you think?
Greg Williams?
Yeah.
He said...
putting a bounty on people's head. Pretty
yeah, you know, it happens. They won games. But, I mean, he was like that in Cleveland, too. He would say some pretty outlandish stuff in the press conferences. But
I mean, that defense they had was good. They're also like...
Yeah, they were also just, like, getting paid $50,000.
They're putting the story's crazy. Just putting money in the pot to...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But to me, that something like that would just ruin your legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that already did enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's been, like, he's a shell.
Is he still in the league? Is he still coaching Cleveland?
Greg Williams? No.
Okay.
But Sean Payton's a shell without Drew Brees anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
why would he come back in the league?
Yeah, you could just...
It's like Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Like, why did Urban Meyer come? Then he coached the kid in Jacksonville. Like, and then who were they saying? They're like Michigan State's thinking about hiring him. It's like, if you're trying to avoid controversy, you're going to hire Urban Meyer? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the coaching carousel. It's crazy.
Guy's got that coaching itch.
I guess he's got an itch for some others.
Yeah.
What you said?
It's like Tom Brady unretired.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. People like Tom should go play for the Jets. They should call. He looked not good in his last year in Tampa. It's psychology that if you get hit a certain amount of times, you start to get. He was just jumping in the pocket. I mean, I would be too.
Yeah.
I mean, not just. I mean, I'd always be. But he's 45 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like Baker Mayfield's honestly the better option for the Bucs. Even if Tom Brady would have stayed, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and even if it's just a rent to Baker, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rent to QB.
Yeah.
Because it's good for all assets. Baker gets to go try to prove himself, and the Bucs get like a 1 year after.
Yeah, but Tom Brady's not going to go be playing for the Jets. You know?
No. Nathaniel.
Why would he?
Why would he go play for the worst coach of all time?
Yeah, Sean Payton. That's gonna come back to bite him. But guys, listen, this has been a really great discussion, and when we get back, we'll do some more talking. But I decided to do a little bit of something different for trivia tonight. So, are you guys familiar with Immaculate Grid?
Yes.
So I thought it would be fun to introduce the viewers at home, and you guys are so smart about sports, that I would give you guys Immaculate Grid number 120 from baseball, and you'll have the amount of time it takes to listen to Higher by Creed during the break and a couple PSA announcements. And we'll dive back into it, and you'll have about 5 minutes to do the
want us to do it on our phones?
No, I'm going to hand you the laptop across the...
Oh, okay.
So the rule is you can't use Baseball Reference, you can't use any website. This is a pure from the brain, no cheating. So I'll explain the rules a little bit when we get back, and we'll see the winners and the answers that the guys give us. So you are listening to Present Tense with Sam Short, 91.7 FM at WNJ Washington, online at WNJR.org.
What number?
Here, I'm going to hand you the computer.
Oh, where's the bathroom?
Down the hall.
We're literally just in Burnett.
I have to pee so bad.
Yeah, go ahead. You can come back.
It actually is. Because he played for so long. Yeah. Only 21.
We are back on the Present Tense with Sam Stewart, 91.7 FM, WNJ Washington, and online at WNJR.org. And today we are talking with Jacob Laduca and Sammy Schuster from the WNJ baseball team, captains here on the squad. And before the break, we had our trivia segment, and we actually did an Immaculate Grid this time. So let's go ahead and read the answers that they got right. And we'll read through the most popular ones in a second. So, for Phillies and the Cleveland organization, Carlos Santana, that was correct. For A's and Cleveland, Ernie Clement. And 3,000 hits for Cleveland, they said Nap Lajoie. That's, what years did he play? That's
like early...
1900, right?
Yeah, 1910.
I've heard the name before. Phillies, Cubs, Kyle Schwarber. MVP Phillies, Ryan Howard, Ricky Henderson. A's MVP, and 3,000 hits MVP was Ichiro Suzuki. So let's read the most popular answers for each of those before we reveal the ones that you didn't get correct. So Cleveland, Philly, most popular answer, Jim Thome. Cleveland A's, Coco Crisp, most popular answer. 3,000 hits would be Eddie Murray for Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
Phillies, Cubs, Kyle Schwarber was most popular. MVP, Phillies, Mike Schmidt. A's MVP, Ricky Henderson, and 3,000 MVP would be Pete Rose. So let's go ahead and read the ones that you did not get correct tonight. So the most popular for A's Cubs was John Lester. Did not remember him playing for the A's.
Yeah, he played for the A's early.
Did he start his career there?
Yeah. Who was the second one? Can you see the second one?
Yeah, we'll pull it up real quick. And then 3,000 career batting for Cubs, Lou Brock.
Yeah, I would. What was the second one for the Cubs?
Okay, let's go ahead and pull up the Cubs A's, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 205 answers. Rube Waddell, Jimmy Fox.
No, we would have only got Lester, it sounds like.
Dennis Eckersley.
Oh.
Maybe Yak.
Yeah. Yeah, good job, guys. That was pretty good. That was
We'll take it.
pretty good. Yeah. So one thing I'd like to do next, we have a lot of NFL talk. So let's go ahead and rank our top five NFL teams in the power rankings this week. So I'll go ahead, put us down first. I'll go 1 at 5-0. Get the San Francisco 49ers. They lead the league in turnover differential and points allowed. Eagles at number 2. They got the Barley Chubb and a lot of other things going for them right now, but they've been a little weak at times, so I'll go with the 49ers at 1. 3, the Chiefs. They've looked a little weak, but they have Taylor Swift on their side, so I'll put them at number 3. And Lions at number 4. I think Dan Campbell's squad. I'm getting some looks here, so I'd like to hear an explanation. But Dan Campbell's squad looking good. We'll see how they match up against the Buccaneers this week. And I'll put at 5. I'm not going to go with the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Bills because the Bills won the head-to-head matchup. But I feel like I easily could have put the Dolphins there. But because the Dolphins got beat so handily by the Bills, I'll put the Bills at number 5. So, Schuster, I'll start with you.
Give me Niners, Eagles, 1 and 2. I think the Niners are a little better. I think there's a big gap between the rest of the league.
I agree.
And then I like Chiefs, Bills. I think that's kind of interchangeable at 3 and 4.
Oh, you put the Bills at 3.
Or 4.
Okay.
5. You know what? Give me the Ravens. Run the ball, stop the run.
What?
Yeah.
Do you see how bad they looked against Pittsburgh in that second half?
Week 5, baby.
They looked awful. They looked so bad.
Run the ball, stop the run.
Let me just, I gotta put on for the Lions. You know what I mean?
The Lions are good. Yeah.
I made this when you told me to get my power rankings, and I had the same 5 teams as you,
Okay.
but in different order.
Okay.
So number 1, I got the 49ers.
Uh-huh.
Number 2, I got the Eagles. Number 3, don't call me biased, but I got the Bills.
Better than the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah. Number 4,
Don't. I'm not calling you biased. I'm calling you
I got
biased.
the Lions.
Okay.
Number 5, I got the Chiefs.
Okay.
I mean, if you watch the last 2 Chiefs games, they should have lost both those games to the Jets and they just played.
The Vikings.
The Vikings. I want to say should have lost, but I
should have.
I don't see how they lose when no matter what they do, there's going to be a flag on the field.
Oh, conspiracy theory.
Chiefs. I mean,
I want to say the helmet thing this weekend was a little bit suspect. The fact that the league there's like a conspiracy theory that the Taylor Swift viewers, they want the Chiefs to keep winning, but Travis Kelce does go on to injury. But the thing I would say put the Chiefs at 3 is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you should know better than anyone that Patrick Mahomes can pull those late victories out. You know what I mean? And the fact that you have a player who might be the greatest quarterback of all time when it's said and done in 5-10 years, I feel like that has to account for something. You know what I mean? Not just in this week's power rankings, but just their favorite going into any week, they could be the favorite to win.
They also just don't look as good as they
don't.
have been.
They don't.
They don't have any explosiveness, it looks like.
Right. In years past, too, they have started kind of weak like this, but at the same time, we'll see. I mean, I think the AFC is a little bit more up for grabs than the NFC. I think NFC, most people would say it's going to be Eagles 49ers.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, could get a sleeper team, get hot in there too.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Bengals might respond in the AFC. We might see a Chiefs-Bengals AFC again. Bengals are going to have to step it up.
Bengals got to make the playoffs first.
Yeah, they'll get beat up too in the North. I feel like the North isn't necessarily good. Here's my take on the AFC North too. The AFC North's not necessarily good, but I just think all the teams are pretty similar. So similar that every game's going to be just a bloodbath.
I've seen some ugly games so far in the NFC North. Because the thing is, the Steelers should be the worst team in the division record.
They just never are.
Because the Browns should have beat them.
Yeah.
The Browns should beat them. The Ravens, Lamar just said, Odell's down there somewhere, throws it up, and then they just run single coverage on George Pickens. You know what I mean? And Matt Canada's face when that play happened just is so funny. Yeah. But, I mean, easily the Steelers should be the last team. Or they are the first team, you know what I mean? So it's there's no real separation in that division. I don't think any of them are Super Bowl contenders, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ravens will jump out of there. They're just so well coached, such a good organization. I
They had a ton of drops. They had a ton.
I know. I just think in the long term, yeah, they're calling the right plays too. But
yeah, they were. I mean, they're easily beaten by 21 points. You know what I mean?
That's just what happens. Good organizations, Harbaugh, you see it every single year. They're never bad, and the division is just so wide open. They're just going to excel past the other teams.
Yeah. But when did the Ravens finally get over that hump? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Lamar could do it. Honestly, I mean, it's a weird style.
He makes bad decisions.
You've never seen it work too. Like we've never seen that style work. Cam Newton was
His
close
first,
to game.
his MVP year, they were so hard to stop.
They weren't in the Super Bowl though. Cam Newton, it's not the same style as Cam Newton either. Cam Newton threw the ball downfield more.
Yeah. Cam Newton's also, I think, more of a power. Like you can put him in the power more often.
Yeah.
More of a physical runner. Yeah. Huh. Well, guys, thanks for the rankings. I'm contemplating all the great points I've heard tonight. Yeah. Anything else y'all would like to add tonight? I'd say this has been a great show. We got to talk about a lot. You guys enjoy the off-season part of baseball, or because I feel like I enjoy it, but I think it's my least favorite part of the year. I like being out with the guys in the field. You know what I mean? It's like conditioning sessions are fun, but I don't know. To me,
I used to not mind it because I was playing hockey, but now it's just like I got nothing to do really. So, but the grind of getting in the weight room, conditioning, that stuff. I mean, I think it's needed. Kind of get away from the field for a little bit, kind of relax.
No, you're good. We've been having technical difficulties. Let me fix that real quick. You're good. Okay, I'm gonna stick down here and fix this.
I hit my word count or something.
As you were saying, it's time of year that I think it's when great teams are made. And I know Schuster's probably got stuff to say on this, but I feel like it's what separates us is that the fact that we do take everything in the offseason so serious. It's like no one wants to be up. We were talking about Lutzy when he came on a couple weeks ago, talking about hurricane sprints and soccer field suicide. Like that stuff is beneficial at a physical level to a certain extent, I feel like, but also it's just like that stuff's just mental. Like swinging the hammer at 6 a.m. when it's freezing outside. You know what I mean? Like that's just I don't know. I feel like it builds mental toughness.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's
your
good
coach.
It's a good time for schoolwork too.
Yeah.
I think this is actually crazy. All 3 falls I've been at WMJ, I think I made the dean's list, but all 3 springs I haven't. I mean, that just goes to show I like this time of year from a standpoint of school. I can do my schoolwork. It's less taxing from a baseball standpoint, and I really think it's a good time to get better. Obviously, if you're not trying to get better, you're getting worse. But I mean, it's just good to be able to focus on school too and get some time off, especially because the fall was a little longer than it usually is.
Yeah, I think our freshman year fall, it was interesting because obviously we didn't have much to do just sitting around in our dorm rooms and stuff, but we had 3 weeks left. It was definitely a little bit of more of a struggle with school, I think, for a lot of people. But I think what the interesting thing is, and you're in your history capstone right now, it's like a senior. I'm really looking forward to next semester school. I don't know
oh my God, yeah. It's tough.
What's your capstone on again?
Shawnee involvement in the War of 1812 history, but that's tough. It's tough to. It was just tough this fall to balance all that stuff, but that's why you're a senior though, because I couldn't even imagine trying to do this as a freshman. Coach Mountain always says when you're a senior you feel like you have 24 hours in the day, but when you're a freshman it feels like there's 16.
I don't feel like I have 24 hours in the day. I know.
Yeah,
I
do. I do.
I get it, but at the same time I don't get it.
Yeah,
it's one of those mountanisms.
Yeah.
We were talking about the games takes on when you were talking about baseball's a wacky game. I was just thinking that's something Coach Mountain would say. Yeah. I want to make an announcement. By the way, if anyone's listening, stop by ChemFest in a couple weeks. Me and Ryan Rometta are brewing an award-winning beer, so make sure you check that out. Schuster will be coming by to drink our beer.
Yeah, I will be. What day?
It's called Twinkie flavored stout.
Oh yeah, is it?
It is. It's Twinkie flavored. We just bought a box of Twinkies. We're gonna put Twinkies in the malt with some vanilla flavoring. So nice vanilla, smooth taste. I don't know. I'll get the date for you. I want everyone who's listening right now show up. Vote for us. Best beer.
I'll vote.
I think you have to be 21 to get
drink
in. You have to be 21 to get in. It's at the.
Oh.
The president has a bar in his house.
Oh.
So
Really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I hope that's not fake news.
Fun
That's what our
fact.
teacher told us. Fun fact. And there's like a beer bar in the president's house. I'm pretty sure that. I don't know.
Seems like
Dr. Knapp, go invite us for some beers. We'll go out party. Also, did y'all see that W&J got a $50 million donation?
I did see that. I didn't read much into it, but
Hey, I mean, we need a little new computer, as you can see, and
Well,
the streaming and then the noise.
scholarships to Pittsburgh area students.
Yeah, I think mostly, but
Not to Northeast Ohio kids though.
hey, you take it up with the president, all right?
Yeah,
There you
I'll
go.
take up the new one.
Yeah, that's right. You're president. Coach Mountain, president of the school.
Coach Crummer.
All right, we're getting all crazy. So I'll go ahead and read our quote of the day. We got a pretty simple one tonight, but I think it goes along with what we're talking about at school. French philosopher René Descartes. He was a pretty influential guy. So I got something from him tonight. To be possessed of a vigorous mind is not enough. The prime requisite is to rightly apply it. No matter how smart you think you are, I think you need to apply your mind. Go out there, make the world a better place. Try to develop your thoughts. Not just good enough to sit around and think. And I think it can go the same thing for like baseball too. We don't need just to think we're good. We need to think of ways to actively get better this offseason. So, and you know what? Starts yesterday. You know, we're already raw jumping, running. Schuster running a 7.2.
Yeah, big time.
Big time. I mean, that's speed from the catcher position.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I mean, are we gonna see you on the immaculate grid for 30+ stolen bases? Can I put you down as the answer?
No, probably not.
What if it was the WJ immaculate grid? Ginger hosts a podcast. We got a W&J immaculate grid.
we should make one of those.
Actually, I was thinking that we should make one,
You should make it next time. When I come on next year or later in
bro. I'll be.
spring.
Oh, you mean next year, like next school year? 'Cause I'll be gone. There'll be no more present tense.
That's right.
I know. It's sad to think about.
I
There'll
was
be
thinking.
It'll be
Nope.
a past tense.
I can make one for the maybe for the spring. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We can pull up the stats from different guys. I'll have Aaron make one. That'd be good for
Yeah.
different sports. Man, you got me thinking on here. That's a good idea because basketball has a lot of stats. Volleyball. Hey, make it happen. But until then, everyone have a great night and especially have a great fall break. Go enjoy some of the beautiful scenes around Western PA. Go spend some time with some family. Go watch some football. And we'll see you next Thursday. We got some football boys in the show. We'll get that shirt up and I'll make the announcement this Sunday. But until then, everyone have a great night. Remember to live. Present tense. That was fun, guys. Great show.
That was good.
Yeah.